Welcome to my first video of the year. And to get started with 2026, I decided to audit my 2025 bank statements. And honestly, when I got to the family support section, it hit me that you cannot pour from an empty cup. I'm starting the year here because if we don't fix our boundaries right, we'll end this year, where we started, broke, no investments or savings. Today we're having a real conversation about black tax. Now, for those who might not know, the term black tax, it isn't an official government tax. It is the unwritten financial obligation that successful families or people in our community have to support their extended family. It's that extra percentage of your salary that goes towards supporting people back home if you live abroad or even in your own country. It's not because you have so much money or you want to show off, but it's because most of the time these people are looking up to you because you are the one who finally made it. We all love our families, right? We want to see everyone doing well, want to support them as much as we can. But let's be honest, for many young people, the pressure to provide for everyone back home is becoming a trap that stops us from building our own lives. There are lots of people, especially those of us who live abroad, who are doing multiple jobs just to, be able to meet up with family expectations back home. And this, causes a lot of pressure. Young people having high blood pressure and, falling ill. And, it's just a lot to handle sometimes. But you can't explain these things to these people back home because most times they don't understand. Some people even call you ungrateful because maybe these people were, helpful to you while you were, struggling as well. The thing about black tax is that it isn't shared equally, right? It usually falls on the person who is seen as the most successful or the one earning the most. For example, if you're the one who finished school first, the one who got a good job in the city, or the one who managed to japa'd to move abroad, your family automatically sees you as the chief financial officer of the entire extended family. They don't see your own bills, they don't see your own taxes or your rent or the things that you actually need to do for yourself to grow in life. They just see your salary. In fact, some people pocket watch you, they know where you work, they research how much you earn, and they expect so much from you and assume that you have enough for everyone. For many of us, particularly those in the diaspora, it usually starts very subtle. Maybe it's sending money home for upkeep, then school fees for a younger sibling, then a cousin's medical bill, a parent's project. Before you know it, a significant portion of your income, the money you worked hard for, the money intended to save for your own future or even towards your own personal journey in life, is going towards these obligations. The problem isn't the desire to help our families, right? We want to help them. It's that deeply ingrained in our culture, and it's a beautiful thing. The problem just arises when it becomes unsustainable, leading to financial strain, stress, and even resentment for the person bearing the brunt of these expectations. You start feeling like you can't build your own life because you're constantly trying to help everyone else. A lot of us have tried to do the right thing, instead of just giving monthly pocket money. You have probably tried to empower your relatives. Maybe you gave them money to start a business, you paid for a skill learning course, or bought them a laptop to start something online. But what happens too often? That money gets squandered. The business, fails because they use the capital for something else, or they didn't, really try to even learn about the business that you've given them money to do, and so it fails. They prefer the comforts of living off you, the hard work of someone else, and it's frustrating because you're trying to build a bridge for them, but they just want to stay on your back. This is why the saying "you can't pour from an empty cup" is very important. If you keep giving until you have nothing left for your own savings, your own emergency fund, your own rent, or your own future, eventually you will break. Trust me. And when you are broken and you're broke, you won't be able to help anyone anyway. So how do we handle this realistically? This is how I do it, right? Because despite being the last child of the family, I still have some billings from time to time, right? And it hits into my own income and savings as well. But this is what I do. I try to be honest about my reality and I set boundaries. It's very important to do this. Be honest and set boundaries. Stop letting people assume that you have money if you are struggling. It's okay to say, I don't have this month. This goes hand in hand with communication. Once you've established that, you can what you can and cannot do, you need to be consistent. This might mean saying no to a request that falls outside your agreed upon contributions. This might mean pushing back until a later date and avoiding emotional manipulation. But remember, you are not responsible for managing other adults' finances. It's okay if you are supporting a younger sibling who is still in school, somebody who doesn't have a job, but it's not okay to continue to support somebody who can actually do something for themselves, who can actually work for their own money. Prioritize your emergency fund, your retirement savings, your own housing. These are not selfish acts. They are foundational to you, to your ability to ever truly help anyone else sustainably. Because if you fail at helping yourself or growing your finances, then you end up being like these people you are trying to help. So it's very important that you have honest conversations. You know when to say no, you set boundaries, and set a family budget. This is also very important. Every month, you know how much you earn as a person, either as a 9-to-5 person or a business person. You know how much you earn. Decide how much you want to give each month without cutting your own bills. Don't go out of your way to support family, except it's an emergency. Somebody is hospitalized, they need to do something, surgery, they need money for medication. But if it's for really like groceries and all of that, try to prioritize your own self for sometimes. And once the money is gone, it's gone. You are a human being, not an ATM. So make sure that you decide how much exactly you want to give out each month without cutting your own bills. If it's compulsory that you even give out money monthly, make sure that it's money that you can afford to let go of, that wouldn't make you hurt your own self or prioritize other people above you. Have honest conversations. Like I said, it's very important to communicate openly, right? A lot of people don't care what you are going through. They just assume that you live abroad and everything is rosy. Since I arrived abroad, I've never found a penny on the floor. So I don't know where the people back home get this idea that when you live abroad things are easier. Inflation is everywhere. We're all going through the same thing. So it's very important that you have honest conversations. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the people that need you to help them. Explain your situation. Let them know your goals, and also realistically contribute without jeopardizing your own financial stability. It's not just about saying no, right? Because they will tag you a wicked and bad person. But set clear expectations. For example, you can say, I can contribute this amount monthly, right? Or I can help with this, but not this right now. Don't let people take you for a fool, because if they know that every time they come to you, you have this guilt, where you don't want to say no, even though you actually cannot afford to do that thing for them. So it's very important to have open and honest conversations with yourself and with the people that need your help. And then stop rewarding waste. A lot of us have invested in a lot of people back home. We send them money to start up a business, for example, and they squander it. You have to stop. Giving them money is not helping them. It's enabling them to stay dependent on you. Ensure that you set these boundaries. If you've given somebody money to start a business once or twice and they weren't able to achieve anything from it, then you need to stop and let them try to see how easy it is to actually work for money and have it wasted or squandered. I know this isn't a simple issue with easy answers. There's so much emotional weight, cultural history, and genuine love involved. But for those of us feeling the strain of black tax, it's crucial to acknowledge that your well-being matters, your future matters, and you cannot effectively support others if you are running on empty. Helping family is a blessing. I enjoy it as well. On days where I don't have to, do things out of my pocket or something. But it shouldn't be a life sentence or poverty for you. You deserve to enjoy the money you work so hard for. Take a vacation, take a break. Sometimes enjoy this money that you wake up so early in the morning to hustle for, and don't always focus on feeling guilty, because a lot of us do these things out of guilt, not even because we can actually afford to do these things conveniently. We don't want people to call us wicked. We don't want people to call us ungrateful, because I've seen people say this online that, if you can't help your family, then you're ungrateful. It's your responsibility to help your family members, no matter how much they ask for or how much they waste this money. As long as you have it, you should help them. And I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences on this. How have you navigated it? Share your stories and advice in the comments below. Let's create a safe space for this important conversation. What is the most out of pocket or ridiculous request you've received from home? For me, when I first moved here, I had like a friend, tell me how much they wanted me to contribute to their wedding that was coming up like just a few months after I arrived here. And to be honest, I didn't even have a job at the time, but this person felt like, oh, they were just asking for 100 euros. What is 100 euros? At the time, the currency exchange was a bit fair, so they had already calculated how much it would be when they convert the 100 euros to naira, and they're like, this is chicken change, 100 euros compared to 100 naira, for example. And I had to ask the person if they were really like serious about what they were saying, because they knew I didn't even have a job yet. I was still job hunting at the time. I had just arrived in a new country where I didn't know anyone, and they were placing this demand on me, and they weren't even a relative. So you can imagine how ridiculous that is. So let me know your story. And have you ever tried to empower a relative only for them to waste the money? I have so many stories about this. It's very important as we start the new year to set these clear boundaries so that you can make the right financial decisions for yourself. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye.